Great ball game going out here. 14-10. Let's make it 16-10 right now.
Julia Laufenberg off the window and good.
Gotta love that turn, forcing that turnover, Ryan, and expanding the lead to 6 points.
Julia on the...
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the MPTV Coach Show. Location is a little different for this week. Ryan Lindley and Brian Dieters. Unfortunately, I suffered a little bit of a sports injury out running and slipped on some ice I didn't see. And so this week's show is a different location. It might be a little on the short side, and we probably won't have a show next week due to me undergoing medical procedures as a result of this. But let's talk about good things. And let's start with girls basketball picking up a huge win over #1 Washington last night.
Exciting win for the girls against a very tough Washington team at their gym, and took a lot of poise down the stretch. And then we had the free throws at the end made by Abby, I believe.
Van Mennen. Yeah, and she was, I mean, you know, and the thing about this is, you know, it just shows the resilience of the team, the resilience of her. She was 0 for 3 from the free throw line before that winning free throw.
Love that. And, you know, and the thing about that is, too, as a player, free throws are really psychological.
Yeah.
You miss one,
Yes.
and that rim gets smaller and smaller. So congrats to the girls on a big win, and they're heading where they need to be as we get closer to February and the end of the year.
Absolutely. Let's hear from Coach Becker. This interview was before that Washington game, but, you know, we always like get a chance to hear from Coach. So we'll hear a little bit from Coach Becker, and obviously, you know, great win last night.
You mentioned before the game what an athletic team you were facing tonight, and boy, they showed it early with that Kanaya Todd. She's going to be a ton as a freshman. She's going to be very...
Yeah, if you believe those guys, they're freshmen. I mean, they got a lot of upside and a lot of potential. You know, I thought our kids also, we haven't played a lot of zone this year. We toyed with it Tuesday night. We're kind of trying to build this 2-1-2. We weren't real happy, like we weren't as aggressive the first half. I think they hit 4 threes by halftime. But that zone should allow us like close out somebody's shorts and not give up a rhythm 3, because you have our middle kid is supposed to stay between the ball and the basket. So we're building that defense. We played it the majority of the game tonight. I thought for a long time it stymied them and was effective because they are so athletic and they can beat you off the dribble and have a lot of weapons. So, you know, our zone was pretty effective.
That third quarter was a lot of fun though, Bob. They went on a 9-0 run, and I'm like, oh my God, we're down. And then you took the punch. And you went 11-0, right?
11-0 run. Yep.
You went 11-0 run.
Yeah.
To answer that 9-0, and you had to love that.
Our team is, I do. Our team is maturing. We kind of use Washington as an example. Washington, Dunlap had a 15-point lead in the first half on Washington Tuesday night. But, you know, they're Washington's mature team. They just stuck to it, and they persevered, and they end up winning the game. And sometimes this season our teams had trouble dealing with some of the maybe poor play or you know, poor shooting or turnovers, and we didn't handle it as mature as we did tonight. Our response tonight was terrific. You know, first half there was times where we were too worried about the officials. Second half I thought we were locked in and stayed in the moment pretty well.
Absolutely. Well, you look at a schedule every year, I know as a coach, this is a quality win.
Definitely a quality
win. And I think going into Washington Tuesday night, you needed some momentum, and I think you got it tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we're on the right track and we don't have any steps backwards. But yeah, I'm proud of the kids. And we're battling sickness too. I mean, not just Abby, but other kids are not feeling 100%. So that was good to see. Our kids are developing, and we're pretty good.
See, he's getting more pleased with where this season is going, and we've said it several times over. Talented team, but really young, and future is so bright.
Yeah, unquestionably. And, you know, a win like last night's win builds that chemistry, creates that absolute atmosphere that you want as you get towards the final third of the season. So now it's just about continuing those good habits and then, you know, see where you're going to go, because they have the talent to go really deep.
Absolutely.
They often.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's stick with basketball just real quick. Boys basketball also got a win in their last time out. They beat East Peoria. Kind of a big win because the teams were neck and neck in the Middle Illini, and now Potters start to separate themselves a little bit. It basically becomes Morton and Metamora battling out for that conference title.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they took care of business up at Dunlap last week
Yeah.
as well. So they're making a run, like we've talked about with them. Their early season schedule and the losses that they took made them a better team. And Coach Zeller has just continued to push that message that we've been through so many different adverse things that now there's not anything really that we won't experience with regards to the type of team that we're going to meet.
Absolutely.
Seems.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it'd be exciting. They get Metamora in 2 weeks, basically, and so obviously see the results of that. But obviously, they need to take care of business in their other games up until then to make the Metamora game as significant as it could be.
One game at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk swimming. Our swimmers, co-op obviously with Washington doing great. Ram relays last weekend won 11 out of 12 events. Keegan Berkey, Landon Berkey, and Drake Shepardson obviously leading the way. But we have 11 Morton swimmers and a diver on that co-op team. So there's a strong Morton presence.
Strong Morton presence, and obviously those guys continue to push themselves. Such a tough, demanding sport, and we're obviously really proud of all of their accomplishments and more to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, should probably mention cheerleading. Competition season is underway for cheerleading. Obviously, if you come to any game from the Potter Dome, you see our cheerleaders, but also competition aspect to their season, and they got second place in their first competition.
They did really well down in Springfield last weekend, and I know they got more coming, so congrats to the girls.
And then last thing before we wrap this thing up for this week, wrestling, Morton Invite. I mean, just kind of the biggest thing. Obviously, the kids did great, but I know Coach Henderson and everybody wants us to take time also to thank all the volunteers that you put on an all-day event. It's awesome to see the kids perform well and all that, but it takes more than just the coaches and the kids to run a huge invite like that.
No doubt. There's no way you can get anything like that off the ground. We used to run that huge tournament back in the day, and without the parents' involvement and all the volunteers, it's not going to be nearly the event that you hope it to be. So congrats to everybody involved.
Absolutely. So, for Brian Eaters, I'm Ryan Lindley. We'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care.